The lockdown alarm didn't shriek, it thumped. A slow mechanical heartbeat rolling down the empty hallway. I knew that sound. Different place, different war, same dread. I was mopping near the science wing when the first gunshot snapped through the building. Students stood behind classroom doors. Teachers whispered prayers they hoped no one heard. I didn't run. I didn't panic. I just stared at the security feed flickering on the little monitor the school pretended I wasn't smart enough to access. 3 men. Rifles held wrong, eyes even worse. They moved like kids trying to copy soldiers they'd seen in movies. The leader laughed as he kicked open a classroom door. Clear the rooms, he yelled, his voice shaking under forced confidence. Kids cried. Someone begged. He enjoyed every second of it. At one point, he looked straight into the camera, smirked, and said, "Old man with a mop can't stop us." My hands tightened on the mop handle, not out of fear or anger, but recognition. An hour earlier, I'd gotten a message. One sentence from an unknown number. They're coming for something you care about. I didn't understand it then, but watching those men terrorize shaking kids made everything click. Someone planned this. Someone who knew me. Someone who wanted to hurt me by hurting them. And that realization, the cold, quiet cruelty of it, was what finally made my stomach drop. Not the guns. Not the screams. The betrayal behind the timing. I left the Navy to get away from betrayal. Now it had followed me into a high school. 2 weeks before the lockdown, I'd started noticing little things at home. My wife giving half-hidden smiles. Late-night messages she tilted her phone to hide. A cologne I didn't own on the laundry she insisted on washing herself. Small things. Quiet things. And quiet is where truth lives. I didn't confront her or accuse her. I didn't let emotion fog my judgment. I watched. Her laughter sharpened, aimed more at her phone than me. Her affection felt rehearsed. And once, just once, I heard her whisper, "I'll tell him soon." But she never did. When the lockdown alert hit my phone, the system-wide emergency blast, I checked the message she'd sent right before it. Not concern, not fear. Just one question. Where are you? Not are you okay? Not are the kids safe? Just where are you? That's when suspicion hardened. Whoever she cared about in that moment, it wasn't me. Over the next few days, I dissected her behavior like old intel reports, phone logs, call times, tone shifts, patterns only betrayal leaves behind. I found a second number. Frequent calls. Never saved. Always deleted. I traced it quietly. Former private security. Fired for misconduct. A man whose file basically screamed danger. Maybe she chose him. Maybe he chose her. Either way, she let him in. And he was connected to the men storming the school. I didn't learn this from some big confrontation. Just from recognizing the same tattoo on one of the intruders. That I'd seen in the contractor's arrest photo. A snake eating its own tail. She knew him. They knew her. They knew me. The betrayal wasn't about romance. It was tactical. I'd left my old life behind. She brought it back by letting in a man who lived off violence and wanted leverage over me. So I moved, quiet, steady, invisible. I followed the intruders into the teacher's lounge. They didn't notice me slip in behind them until I turned the lock with a soft click. The leader spun around, full of arrogance. "Old man with a mop," he sneered. I set the mop aside. Then I pulled the folded phone records, hers and his, from my pocket and placed them on the table. His smirk wobbled. "You should pick your allies more carefully," I said calmly. He skimmed the papers. Recognition hit first, then fear. "My wife talked," I added. She just didn't know she talked. I watched the truth land in his eyes. She was the weak link. She exposed him. She exposed all of them. She said you were done," he stuttered. "That you didn't." I stepped closer. She lied, and in that moment, he finally understood who was trapped. Not me, not the kids, him. I didn't raise my voice or lay a hand on him. I simply opened the door as the police breach team stormed down the hallway, tipped off by the anonymous message I'd sent 10 minutes earlier, complete with names, photos, evidence, all pointing to him, and to her. Panic took over his face as the officers tackled him. "You set us up," he screamed. "No," I said quietly. "You walked into your own trap." He glared at me with the hatred only fear can create. "You'll regret this," he spat. But the door slammed before he could finish. When everything was over, I walked outside into the cold afternoon air. Kids were crying. Teachers were hugging each other. I didn't join them. I sat on the curb, breathing slow, watching my wife sprint toward the scene. Her eyes searched for me with guilt sharper than fear. She opened her mouth to speak. I raised a hand. "You don't owe me the truth," I said. "I already have it." Her face crumpled, not from heartbreak, but from realizing her control was gone. I stood, walked past her, and never looked back. Some betrayals end in shouting. Mine ended with a mop still standing in a silent hallway. And one final truth: I wasn't the one she needed to fear.